Hello people of YouTube and welcome to a sort of three-parter about personal pronouns. Today we will be having a look at subject pronouns. In a next video we will look at object pronouns, and after that we'll have a look at possessive pronouns as well. There's kind of an interesting feature in the Dutch language with personal pronouns, and that is that for object and subject pronouns we have two different versions. We have the clean, standard, sort of more formal version, and then we have a reduced version of the same words as well. We'll get to that later. First we will get started with the sort of clean, standard versions of personal subject pronouns. The first person singular pronoun, or I in English, is ik in Dutch. A sentence with ik would be ik ben aan het schrijven. I am writing. And you'll be able to see throughout this video as well that conjugation changes for the different pronouns. We won't dive too deep into conjugation quite yet. We'll do a video about that at some point in the future. For now, let's just focus on the actual pronoun. So I is ik. Ik ben aan het schrijven. I am writing. The second person singular pronoun, or you in English, in Dutch has a formal and an informal version. The informal version is jij. And a sentence could be jij kookt de rijst, or you cook the rice. The formal version is u. So informal is jij, formal is u. U heeft geen recht op gratis rijlessen. You don't have a right to free driving lessons. As you can hear in these sentences, the second sentence I used as an example is a kind of formal setting as well. You can imagine someone being on the phone with like the customer service of a driving school saying you don't have the right to free driver's lessons, your coupon has expired or something like that. So in that sort of case, for people you don't know, for formal situations, for elderly people as well, or for people that are higher in your company's hierarchy, situations like that, you would address them with u instead of jij. The third person singular pronouns, or in English he or she, are hij or zij. Hij neemt zijn kat mee naar het werk. He is taking his cat to work. Zij houdt van extreme sporten. She loves extreme sports. Then we're getting into the plurals. The first person plural form, or in English we, in Dutch is wij. Wij gaan samen naar het park. We are going to the park together. As you can see in the sentence, the word order in the English version is slightly different than the one in the Dutch version, and you can see more about that in my lesson about word order up there. The second person plural form, or in English you, just as for the second person singular, you, in Dutch has an actual different word for the informal form. For the formal form, which we also have in the plural version of second person, we keep the same word, or rather the same single letter, u. But we'll get to that later. The informal word is jullie. Jullie hebben veel ervaring met de Franse keuken. You have a lot of experience with French cuisine. And like I said, the formal plural remains the same. It is still u. And what makes this more confusing is that the conjugation for the verb that follows it remains the same as for the singular form. But usually you can tell by context what the implication is, so if it is meant as a plural or as a singular. You can very well see it in this example sentence. U heeft er gezamenlijk voor gezorgd dat het bedrijf failliet is gegaan. You have caused the company to go bankrupt together. Gezamenlijk means together. So from that you can tell that u is meant to be a plural form instead of the singular. The third person plural, annoyingly, has the same word as the third person singular for female, zij. So they in English is zij in Dutch. However, luckily, at least the conjugation for zij in plural changes, which is very nice. So you don't have to gather everything from context in that case. Zij zijn erg aardig. They are very nice. Whereas just for the example, if it was a singular female form, zij is erg aardig. She is very nice. So plural, zij zijn erg aardig. They are very nice. Oh, and we're only halfway through the video because this was just the end of the clean subject pronouns. We will now take the exact same sentences that we had in the clean words section of this video, and we will take the reduced versions of our personal pronouns and apply them to the same sentences. So if this all sounds a little bit vague, just follow along with me and I think it will clear itself up quite quickly. The first sentence we used is ik ben aan het schrijven. I am writing. But you can take the ik and replace it with an apostrophe k. K ben aan het schrijven. Just to make it even more informal and slightly more dialecty, what I did is I took the het and replaced that with an apostrophe t as well. So ik ben aan het schrijven instead of ik ben aan het schrijven. It is just shorter, it flows a bit nicer, and for me it feels a bit like dialect. Not every dialect in Dutch would use this, but it is definitely a thing that I could say in my slightly more northern dialect. So once again, instead of ik ben aan het schrijven, ik ben aan het schrijven. It's just a bit shorter. But it has a function as well. It's not just to make it sound more dialecty or to make it flow slightly nicer. It also serves the purpose of depressurizing the subject of the sentence and instead pressuring the activity that's happening more, the verbs or the objects in the sentence. So instead of ik ben aan het schrijven, ik ben aan het schrijven. The schrijven part, the writing part of the sentence, becomes more important than the ik part. And this is a theme that we'll keep seeing throughout the rest of the reduced versions of the personal pronouns here. So the next one was jij kookt de rijst. You cook the rice. You can change the jij for je. Je kookt de rijst. And like I said with ik and k, the je depressurizes the you part of the sentence. It depressurizes the person, the pronoun, and it instead puts more pressure on the cooking of the rice. So the activity becomes more important than the person doing it in this particular instance. So instead of jij kookt de rijst, je kookt de rijst. My difference in intonation in those two examples is a bit overdone, but it is a thing that you could come across in Dutch. Luckily, to keep it slightly easier, there is no reduced form for the formal form, so every sentence with u remains a sentence with u. According to the source I used for this video, which I will definitely leave down below, it was very helpful indeed. There are a lot of different reduced versions for the third person singular forms, but a lot of them I have never used or heard anyone else use in conversation. So there is two that I would use and have heard other people use as well, which I will explain in this video. If you are interested in finding out the rest, then you can find the link to the article that I used for this video down below. So the first one I would use is replacing zij, she, with the word ze. It's just a bit shorter. Zij houdt van extreme sporten. She loves extreme sports. Ze houdt van extreme sporten. And this does the same thing that I have explained before, in that it depressurizes the person who is doing the activity but pressures the activity that's happening more. So instead of she, the activity of loving extreme sports is now more important. And this is a very common feature of the Dutch language. It doesn't sound dialecty to me at all. I think anyone who speaks Dutch will use the word ze over she in a lot of instances. The next one, still third person singular, is replacing the word hij, he, with the word I, i.e. This particular instance for me sounds a bit like dialect though, and I would only personally use I in questions to replace hij. But I have heard people with stronger dialects use it for replacing she, zij, as well. Mostly in case of questions though. So, neemt hij zijn kat mee naar het werk? Does he take his cat to work? Neemt hij zijn kat mee naar het werk? Neemt hij zijn kat mee naar het werk? Does he take his cat to work? As you can see, this is a male third person singular, but like I said, some people with stronger dialects use it to replace she, zij as well. Next one, wij gaan samen naar het park. We are going to the park together. We gaan samen naar het park. This does the same thing as I've explained before. It is not dialect, it's very common, and it depressurizes the personal pronoun, but instead pressurizes the activity that, the subject of the sentence is doing. So going to the park together is now more important than the we part of the sentence. We gaan samen naar het park. I'm skipping the second person plural form, so you in English, because I have never heard anyone actually use the reduced version for jullie and u in any form of conversation, really. There is a form available, which if you are interested, you can find in the description below, in the link that I have used for this video as well. But I would not use it, hence I am skipping it in this video. But then to end it off, the third person plural, zij zijn erg aardig, they are very nice, ze zijn erg aardig. And you can see here again that for some reason we use the same word for third person plural as we use for female third person singular, but the conjugation does change for a plural sort of situation. Once again, we will get to the conjugation of verbs in a later video, but just so you know that that is how you can determine if the sentence is about a plural situation or if it is about a singular one. So, ze zijn erg aardig, they are very nice. Once again, just like with the previous examples, this does not feel like dialect to me at all. This is a thing that many a Dutch speaker would use, and it takes the pressure off the ze part of the sentence and pressurizes the zijn erg aardig part more. So the act is more important than the people fulfilling it. And there you have it. I hope this wasn't too much. I know it was a bit on the hefty, lengthy side with a lot of different examples. If you have any questions about this at all, do leave them down in the comments below and I will try my best to answer them. And if you have any suggestions for videos that you want to see me make about the Dutch language, leave that down in the comments below as well, and I will try to get to them in the future. Right, for now, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to push some of the positive buttons down below. Like I said, the next video will be about object pronouns, and the one after that will be about possessive personal pronouns. Right, let's see you in those, shall we? See you next time. Ciao.